asked me if I painted myself brown. Back when I was in elementary school, I was the only black kid in the classroom, so there was a lot of things that I went through, like mentally, and it was kind of hard to talk about it, especially to teachers that don't look like you and all your friends and none of them look like you. And the only other time you saw like another person that looked like you was when you were at recess and you saw the other classrooms come around, but even then it was like one or two. I literally have a skin tone that people have tried to make me hate, and I battled a lot of, going back and forth with like loving myself and then like hating myself, because I just wasn't around people who look like me. And we didn't really talk about like black people loving themselves in school. We only talked about like traumatic things that like my community went through, so it was just very hard. And I was already a shy kid, so I didn't really like attention on me. I didn't like to speak in front of the classroom. So I was literally in elementary school and I was getting off the bus to go home, and I remember this kid, he was staring at me for a long time. He was staring at me like the whole ride. And then as soon as I stand up and I'm about to, walk off the bus, he literally looked at me and was like, "Did you paint yourself brown?" I'm not even 10 years old. And then to have somebody ask me that, it was just very weird. And of course, I'm shy. I nodded. And then I walked off the bus. I was in shock. Like, people would ask me a lot of crazy stuff, and that wasn't the last time somebody had asked me something stupid going to school. But I remember going home and like telling my mom about it, and she had to reassure me that my black is beautiful and we just live in an area where people aren't used to seeing somebody black. And then on top of that, I didn't fit in the stereotype that my classmates had about black girls, especially dark-skinned girls. My mom like did her best. My parents did their best. They did their big one, making sure that I went to school with matching clothes, clean clothes. I had like matching hair bows, I was moisturized, the whole nine. Like, so it wasn't, she didn't want me to be picked on, but people later on had already teased me about me being dark skinned, but that's neither here or there. That's a different story for a different time. But when it came to simply just showing up and just being present, yeah, had to kind of